Awesome. I think we're now able to record. Apologies for that. I was supposed to start that before the meeting started, but I got distracted because I was trying to let people into the meeting room. So I'm just going to have to start all over just for people that are joining us now. By way of introduction, this is Sustainability Matters, a meeting we have every week with people building products, processes that have to do with climate change and sustainability. For this week, we're having Madam Flavia with us. Madam Flavia is the Secretary General of Uganda Bamboo Association and also a lawyer, the former Minister of State for Water and Environment in Uganda. That is awesome, Madam Flavia. In a minute, I'm going to get to that. So you can tell us a few things you did while you were in that position, just so we can learn a thing or two. Madam Flavia is also the former member of parliament for Kilaro District, women representative. That's awesome. And also a retired judicial officer, chief magistrate, and inspector of courts. That's something. I'm really excited to have someone of your experience with us, Madam Flavia. So, do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself? I'm sure I didn't do as much justice to that as I would like to.
Okay. Good evening, everybody.
Good
Uh,
evening.
as as Agatha has said, I am Munaaba Flavia Nabugere. Most times now they add the title Honorable. I am
Awesome.
the founder of Uganda Bamboo Association. However, I have worked in all arms of government in Uganda. I worked as a magistrate, judicial officer, up to the level of inspector of courts. Then I've worked as member of parliament. I've also worked on the executive as the Minister of State for Environment. I'm a gender specialist, although I'm a lawyer. So I've
Mm-hmm.
also lectured in the University of Makerere,
Yeah.
gender and the law, gender and human rights, and gender and violence. And I've been a consultant. But right now, I am a bamboo farmer,
Awesome.
spearheading the development of the bamboo industry in Uganda. I'm spearheading the conversation on bamboo.
Wow.
Uh, yeah, according to the first question that I had here, whether what led me to this bamboo, what drew me to be part of this bamboo association. I start from a spiritual perspective. I'm also a
Okay.
pastor. I'm a pastor.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Wow.
I,
Yeah.
I, I caretake a number of churches.
Awesome.
But what struck me so much in my journey, in the spiritual journey, was the poverty among
Mm,
the people I served. They were very, very poor, very, very
mm,
poor people. So my desire
yeah.
and mission as a person serving God was to help people rise from poverty. And I sought God about it, and He talked to me. I don't know how many on the group uh, spiritually oriented and believe in God, giving
Mm-hmm.
someone a mission.
Mm-hmm.
But God talks to me while I kept on searching how I can help people rise from
Mm.
poverty. Through education, yes, I supported people in
Yeah.
education. Through starting income generation, through following them up and giving them some aid from my income. But that was not enough. I kept on asking
Mm,
God, what can I do to help these people? And I got this message from God
mm,
that I will give you the treasures of darkness, hidden
mm,
riches in secret places, so that you may know that I have known you even though you didn't know me. And
Mm.
from that word, I kept on searching left, right, and center, searching where the riches could be. I thought maybe in minerals, I thought in whatever, but in my search and my service, I'm led
Mm.
into politics. I did not have a
Wow.
conscious, I did not have a conscious decision to go into politics, but I just
Mm.
found myself into politics and getting amazing success there,
Mm.
getting there immediately, becoming a minister,
Mm.
and then I start now thinking more deeply, what kind of package can I get out of here to be able to reduce that poverty which I was trying to fight.
Yeah.
I knew that the number of people I had to support with my income had skyrocketed. So, and I also knew that my contract was for 5 years, whereby I may not go back there. So I started immediately to look for ways of fulfilling my mission of helping people rise from poverty. And I looked at natural resources in which I was serving as a minister, and realized that there
Mm-hmm.
was so much wealth in natural resources, a lot of wealth in natural resources,
Yes.
in the forestry, in water, in the air, everything that I was looking at, I could now realize the riches that God had talked about. Now it was a time
Mm.
to walk the talk. And my
Yeah.
very first journey out of the country was to China, to a bamboo forest
Okay.
expo. And there in that expo, there was a training for 2 weeks and then an expo, whereby there was a huge structure where they displayed 4 stories, they displayed bamboo products. And I
Mm.
realized that was it. And we had the bamboo in our country, so I came back to my country and started talking bamboo, started asking questions about bamboo. And I started now establishing relationships, raising the political awareness about bamboo, about its capacity to reduce poverty. I also happened to have the forestry, the sector, forestry
Mm-hmm.
sector, under my docket. So I had to deal with forestry to ensure that members of the forestry sector also become more aware. They were already aware, but become more aware of the need to integrate bamboo in their activities. I did. I started some programs, and in the end, we the conversation peaked. A number of people went outside the country, even ministers, to go and see bamboo. And then I started doing bamboo at my house. 2012, that is only 1 year, 1 year after becoming a minister. I started making the seedlings myself. I started talking to people. I created the plantation. I involved
Wow.
my ministry into creating my first plantation, launching it.
Mm.
I invited the Chinese people to come, and we signed a memorandum of understanding between the two countries, a bilateral, signed by me. And from that point, I knew that the answer and my search was
Mm.
in bamboo.
Wow.
So that is the story of bamboo. I started I carried the conversation forward because it was already there. We have bamboo.
Yeah.
It has been
Yeah.
there for ages. And even in my ministry, in the Ministry of Forestry, in the
Mm.
sector of forestry, they had a bamboo desk. So I raised the conversation higher at that level as a minister.
Yeah.
And when I left, I had bamboo seedlings in my compound. I had planted a number of hectares. I think there were 8. And the bamboo was growing, so I had something to talk. I wanted to continue pursuing my legal career after politics, but I realized that I no longer had the energy. I didn't have the energy for the system.
Yeah.
So I sat
Yeah.
down and transformed my own home. It is a big home. I transformed it into a bamboo office, bamboo enterprise.
Wow.
And the reason why I did that is while I had left government, I continued to get visitors. And
Mm.
I was talking to those visitors in my sitting room. Then I realized that I had so many rooms in the compound. Therefore,
Yeah.
I transformed it into an office so that I create an address for bamboo. And then the need to register a formal organization also arose. So
Yeah.
I mobilized other people. We came together and launched Uganda Bamboo Association. We
Awesome.
registered it in 2017. 2017.
2017.
Yeah, we registered it after the idea had been running for 6 years. And that
Wow.
is how we moved to
Wow.
bamboo. Now, Uganda Bamboo Association, its mission, its vision is to create an integrated bamboo industry contributing to improved incomes, poverty reduction, and green national economy.
Yeah.
And again, our mission is to promote sustainable and profitable production and utilization of bamboo resources to enhance national wealth and ecological health. Now, Uganda
Yeah.
Bamboo
I
Association, yes, hello?
I was going to just, yeah, I'm with you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I think a major note to take from your introduction so far has been that you had started doing something for like 6 years before you felt the need to register the Uganda Bamboo Association. It just reconfirms a book I was reading recently about tying up funds in trying to meet regulatory requirements. I know a lot of founders that want to start something, they start by saying, what does the government need for me to establish this? But it's worthy to note that you had started doing something around your vision. There was track record already before you decided, okay, let's go ahead and register this. I'm just reiterating it because there are a lot of people that may be interested in founding something here. Always the work comes before any form of registration. Make sure that you've gained traction, your work, you've seen a future for what you are doing, and then you can say, yes, let's establish this, let's make this into a company, let's go and register with the government. I just thought to chip that in so you can continue, ma'am.
Yeah. This Uganda Bamboo Association, therefore, was one of the activities was now to mobilize people to plant bamboo, and at
Yeah.
the same time to demonstrate the products that bamboo uh, that can be made out of bamboo. So there was enough space for us, and if someone demanded for seedlings, the seedlings would be there. If someone wanted to know what can we do out of bamboo, we had products here and there which people could look at and run away with so that they can go and start something of their own. The only challenge was that some people, when they picked an idea, they really felt that maybe Uganda Bamboo Association again was their competitor. Sometimes we have experienced hostility from someone who's picking ideas from us. But yet, the idea was that people should see and run away with the ideas and make them a reality. So we have worked around that to make sure that people don't continue being hostile when they pick some of the ideas we have put forward. Yeah, and it is
Okay.
also a platform where we share
Okay, go ahead,
ideas
ma'am.
on bamboo resources. Yeah, the association is a platform where
Okay.
we share ideas on bamboo resources, bamboo products, technology for bamboo value addition, research information, training, networking, and also market linkages. So it is some wide kind of hub where people can share information on bamboo. But when they come to share information, they will also find the real stuff there. They'll find the bamboo, which is standing, they will find the seedlings, they will find the plantation, they will find the nursery, they will find ideas on how to establish a nursery, how to establish a plantation, how to manage the plantation. All those, they are able to find them in reality and touch them. So it is not just a matter of mobilizing, talking, or whatever. It is a matter of walking the talk.
Mm,
And also, because of my
mm,
experience with government, Uganda Bamboo Association has been able to make relationship or collaboration to enter into agreements with the government through the Ministry of Water and Environment. We have
mm,
an MOU, and we work together. We have an MOU with the National Forest Authority, and we
mm.
also have land from the national allocated from government through the National Forest Authority, where we plant a demonstration plantation of bamboo on 500 hectares. We
Wow.
also now have collaboration with the Chinese government. So we keep on working with different organizations. The International Network of Bamboo and Rattan in Uganda supports us. But I'm
Wow.
proud also to say that the first proposal that finally brought the International Network of Bamboo and Rattan to Uganda was initiated by me. I initiated it,
Awesome.
and
Wow.
it was developed further. I can also say that we have a strategy and national plan,
Mm,
action plan by government, which is the government policy on bamboo, which I drafted the outline, and then it was developed by consultants, and it was also developed by, taken on by the ministry through to the through to the government.
yeah.
Yeah, so that is how bamboo started
Yeah.
and how the conversation is going on.
Mm,
With Uganda Bamboo Association, there are up to 460 members. Some of them are
wow.
very active, some are not. There was some kind of interference by COVID, the lockdowns, they interfered a little bit and checked our momentum. But now the momentum is coming
It's
up
picking up.
again. Yeah.
Mm. So I was
Uh,
looking through the website, and I
mm,
noticed that it was put there that the association has bagged 183 awards, and it was just amazing to see. Do you want to tell us a bit about bamboo? What makes bamboo special? Why bamboo? Because I'm
mm,
pretty sure that there are other countries that have the resources to grow this plant but don't know much about it, right? So, what is
mm.
special about bamboo? Why should we be interested in building resources and people around this plant, bamboo?
Yeah, bamboo has been in our country since time immemorial. Bamboo has grown in the Rwenzori Mountains, and it is eaten by the natives. That is the Jisu people. Uh, they eat bamboo, and they have bamboo in their locality, so they use it in a rudimentary ways. Then there has been bamboo in the Mount Elgon. That Mount Elgon, that's where the Bajishu are, and they eat it. Then in the Rwenzori, and that bamboo also exists in the northeastern part of the country, a different type of species. And then there are other bamboo
And
species all over
EG.
the country, and they would be there, but we were using them for nothing much, apart maybe from in schools as canes and a few things here and there. But when I went to China and saw the value of bamboo, I realized that we have a treasure in our country. And then bamboo grows very fast. Bamboo can be used in so many applications. Uh, Bamboo has so many uses. So at the end of that day, when I saw bamboo and then started analyzing its contribution towards poverty reduction, I realized that I was at home now in my what? In my promise, in my divine promise. Yeah. So bamboo, as we know it, I realized that a lot of forests have become degraded. A lot of river banks have been made encroached on up to the water. Uh, a lot of mountains have been bared. There are landslides. People are dying. So bamboo was a quick fix. Could be a quick fix for that kind of degradation. One, it grows very fast. Two, it has the capacity to fix the soil so that it is stable. Three, it can be economical in the sense that it can be manipulated into goods like furniture, for construction, like timber, like energy, charcoal. It can be used as firewood. It can be used again as food. So that was something that really captivated me, that anyone, whether the poorest of the poor or the grassroots people, they can manipulate bamboo to give them products that they can use for themselves. Either it saves them from buying something which they could have bought, like say you want to make a stick for mingling your maize meal. Instead of going to buy it from the market, they can make it from bamboo on its own. We use it for firewood. Where all the forests have been cut, then bamboo can come in, and then it cooks very well, it cooks very fast, it has a very high blue flame. So at the end of that day, it saves people from looking for energy elsewhere in the rural areas. That is how I looked at bamboo and realized that it was a quick fix for the environmental degradation. It was also a quick fix for the restoration of forests, and also a contribution to poverty reduction, since
Awesome.
it has many opportunities for
Many.
job creation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. So can bamboo grow anywhere? Is it a plant that is selective of its soil, or is it possible for the bamboo tree to grow anywhere? And what's the a second question now? What's the planting and harvesting process like for bamboos?
Yeah, bamboo in Uganda can grow almost anywhere, because our uh, our weather our weather is so beautiful, it's so good.
Wow.
And in fact, Uganda is called the Pearl of Africa. So bamboo really grows everywhere. And we have two major types. We have the highland bamboo, which is called Usania alpina. It's highland bamboo. It will only thrive in the cold mountains. Some of you have read geography. You know that
Mm-hmm.
Mount Elgon has snow, and the Mount Renzori also have snow. In the center of a tropical world, we have snow. So highland bamboo, grows well on the Mount Elgon and also on Mount Renzori. And then we have also lowland bamboo. It's called Oxtenantera abyssinica. This bamboo is solid, doesn't have If it has any hole inside, it is very tiny, but it's basically solid bamboo which grows in northeastern Uganda. Then all across the country, we have other types that have been imported from elsewhere, like Bambusa vulgaris, which is very versatile and it grows so much and so well. We call it sometimes the shameless bamboo because it will really grow. It will answer any situation. The only area where I've seen bamboo unable to thrive is on a bare rock and under stagnant water. So when there is too
Okay.
much water, which is stagnant, then bamboo will not grow. So that is the nature of bamboo in Uganda.
Wow. You had mentioned earlier the different products bamboo can be made into. You've said charcoal, you've said that it can be eaten, you said it can be turned to energy, it can be made into furniture. So, what's your favorite thing to turn into bamboo? I'm sure you have something that whenever you look at it, that this was made from bamboo, it just wows you. So, what is that for you?
My favorite and my very, very favorite is bamboo shoot for eating.
Okay.
When I sit down, I start reflecting on the bamboo shoot. The bamboo shoot, because it is like universally desired. We have in Uganda, we have tribes that eat bamboo shoot. Then there are nations that have come to us, like China, like India. They stay in our midst and they love to eat bamboo shoots. And
Yeah.
then, personally, I didn't know how to process, but I knew they were good until someone visited me at our offices here in Uganda Bamboo Association and said, "Oh, this one is good to eat." And they picked it and they taught me what to do. So I really enjoy eating bamboo. I enjoy serving it to my guests. I enjoy
Yeah.
selling the idea of that nice food, crunchy food to to my colleagues, and I have very many from the different circles that I have worked. It is very exciting, and I look at it as my take, at least as a person, that for me, if I want to do business, because I'm in my old age now, in my
Yeah.
retirement, I should retire in a plantation with the
Yeah.
shoots, whereby people can come to me and pick the shoots and go and eat them, for a fee, not for free.
Also, so your favorite bamboo product is food. I love that.
Yes.
Spoken like a true African woman. So, what's in your opinion? What are the research and innovations going on around bamboo right now? I think in Uganda, you may be the closest person to this bamboo innovation. So, what, in your opinion, innovations and research and development going on around bamboo aside from the conventional food, furniture? What else is China or your association looking into to make bamboo into new products or new processes?
Yeah, the first preoccupation that we have had after we have interested people, we have excited people, people have demanded for seedlings. However, the seedlings have been quite expensive to make because when someone asks for a seedling, you find that it is $1, 1.5 of a dollar or $2, and yet that is too much money for the people here. That just one
Wow.
seedling. So and yet when I talk about establishing a bamboo plantation, I'm talking about acres. I'm talking about the much land that people have, which is lying idle. And then they're like, where are the seedlings? And then we try our rudimentary ways to make the seedlings. The seeds of bamboo are rare, they are not so common. So, what the research has been mostly focused on how to produce bamboo seedlings easily, and that is tissue culture.
Okay.
Makerere University, they have tried it through the agriculture, the School of Agriculture, and then narrow, they have tried it. Narrow, they have managed now to raise some, they call them protocols. I don't know those scientific words. And they
Words.
have brought me some samples of the bamboo they have produced, because they picked the samples from here to go and do the tissue culture. So now they have brought back the feedback, and they
Mm,
have brought some bamboo, and they say now they are ready to start going what? To roll over, to do the
mm,
expansion. Then the other thing has been the development of standards for bamboo for construction, standards
okay.
for bamboo charcoal, standards for bamboo toothpicks, and standards for malewa, that is the bamboo shoot. I think there are also three other standards, because I've participated in making them, yet I
Mm,
do not remember very well the other three. But we have tried that. And then the others, of course, in schools now, people are coming up with the topics, but that is basically where we are. And for us at Uganda Bamboo Association, it is experiential research. As we
mm,
go along, we document our findings, what we
yeah.
experience. And most times, what we experience is totally different from what is the literature, available literature, because
Mm,
available literature has been developed from the perspective of other countries like China, like even
yeah.
universities, theories, whatever. But for
True.
us, we have the real basic information on the ground. We
Mm,
know what is easy, what is so difficult, and so on.
mm.
Yeah.
Awesome. You had mentioned earlier that one of the challenges you were having in your association was the manufacturing of these seedlings. It actually leads me to my next question. What has been your biggest challenge so far running the Uganda Bamboo Association, aside from the operational issue of seedlings are scarce or they are expensive? What else has been your biggest challenge running this organization?
Yeah, the biggest challenge is finance. For until we reach the time of harvesting and selling what we have uh, planted, we need money. We need a lot of money to establish the plantations, to go around teaching. We had a dream of having mobile workshops where we go and teach people what to do and even supply them with seedlings. But those have remained only on the books. We could not do it because we lacked the money. And also at the same time, once we are on the practical aspect of planting bamboo here and there, you don't have the time again to write proposals and look for funding elsewhere. Most of the time you are now in the garden trying to plant. So we lack that expertise in our organization. So we have workers, the workers who come to us, they are the ones who have just finished school. Then there are the volunteers who have retired from their works. Those energetic, vibrant people would like high salaries to be able to come in. So we have that gap in finances, which also uh, runs down into the gap into the expertise.
It actually makes sense that the two challenges that you have highlighted can all be tied to finance,
Mm,
because the lack of skilled workers, like you said,
mm,
the
mm,
capacity you're looking for would require some level of finance for them to be committed to the association,
mm,
because they are looking for some certain level of salaries that probably the association cannot afford right now. And it will
mm,
interest you to know that every guest or every founder I've had on this show, their number one
mm,
challenge would always be funding. So I was almost expecting you to say funding. But it's also good to hear that one of the challenges you're having is also resources, human resources. Okay, this leads me to my next question. Um, what kind of markets are available for these bamboo products, byproducts, and who have been, what organization or body have been your biggest vendor or buyer or patronizer so far?
Uh, our biggest buyers are actually the farmers, because
Okay.
we have had mostly people, we are trying to domesticate bamboo. It has been in the wild. So our biggest buyers have been those who are buying seedlings to go and plant, and we have not actually had enough for them. They,
Wow.
they, they come every season. Now when we go to April, they will come in big numbers wanting to go and plant bamboo. So because we don't have enough funds, therefore we don't have enough seedlings for them. That is going to be always a gap until we have enough funding. Now, this idea of funding, again, could still be solved in a different way. That is, if we are able to process the bamboo into marketable goods, because there are people who are seeking energy chips, bamboo wood chips, but we don't have the machinery that can make the bulk that they want. But I can assure you that we already have the resource, we already have the potential to make money, but that link, the link between skill and also technology, the technology, because the machinery, setting them up requires a lot of money. However, a few people have set up some kind of factories. There's a factory now set up by Bamboo Uganda. They are able to buy poles from the farmers. The farmers whose first crop has now matured are able to sell to Bamboo Uganda, and they are doing some export for that. Then
Wow.
there are different enterprises here and there. They have their projects. They want to do construction using bamboo, so they can come and buy our bamboo. So we are still enticing more projects to come up, but still the question is there enough bamboo to sustain a factory? That is still
Yeah.
another thing. There's enough bamboo in the wild, in the nature reserves, in the Mount Renzor, in the Mount Elgon, but those are reserves. You cannot rely on nature reserves for your raw material. So our major drive now is to plant until we have a critical mass of bamboo resources for industrial purposes.
That's actually very interesting that you got there, because that was one of the questions I have lined up for you. That how sustainable is it right now to keep on harvesting bamboos? Is the harvest rate equaling the planting rate, as it were? Because I would assume that a lot more are being harvested than they are being planted, considering the constraints that you just mentioned, being that the seedlings are expensive and not really available for planting. What more can you add to that?
Yeah, what I can say about sustainability is that there's a movement on carbon credit finance. That movement, we may not yet have realized tangible benefits from it, but it is an incentive for people. They are planting, and that's why we are having a higher demand for seedlings, because people anticipate that there could be quick money coming from carbon financing. So that is one thing.
Mm.
This means that the bamboo resource is expanding. This last season, I had so many people coming up. We sold more than 100,000 seedlings to
Wow.
people. And all those are putting up plantations. And even without seeing a list of people saying, I'm booking, I feel it in my spirit. Remember, my journey is a spiritual one. I feel
Absolutely. I
it in
remember.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I feel it in my spirit that come April, September this year, there's going to be a high demand for seedlings because people are clearing the land. The government of Uganda has set up 350,000 hectares, 350,000 hectares are available for planting bamboo
Wow.
through their policy over a period of 10 years. And
Wow.
that one, it started 2019 to 2029. So that
Wow.
is towards sustainability. Then the other thing is that the factories that are there now, they cannot take all the bamboo. And remember, the bamboo that is here, when you harvest, it grows again. You cannot
Mm.
finish it unless you just uh, defile the plantation and over harvest, or you abuse it by cutting everything. But if you follow sustainable harvesting, it
Mm.
means that in my plantation of 30 acres, I can have up to 10,000 uh, 10,000 plants, and then I have to harvest at least 6 poles from each plant. That should be enough. 60,000 poles a year should be
Wow.
enough for me.
Mm.
Eh? Yeah, it
Yeah.
should give me enough capital. So we don't worry much about what? About the sustainability unless we harvest what we have badly.
Well, I think the upside of bamboo planting and harvesting far outweighs whatever question anyone could raise about the sustainability of the entire process. Because bamboo in itself, across its value chain, is, if done right, should be able to replace some certain some certain carbon emitting products. Like you said, there's renewable energy potential in bamboo. That's the charcoal. From the charcoal, that could replace a lot of carbon emitting equipment that we use right now. And then there's the furniture making, which would help with the current felling of trees that is happening across Africa right now due to urbanization and growing population, right? So there's a lot of potential in bamboo to address sustainability. So that is not even supposed to be an issue right now. But I really want to find out, in your opinion, what kind of capacity building can someone interested in bamboo and the entire value chain go into? Are there courses on your platform someone could take, or could you refer us, everyone on this call, to probably a book we could read or video documents we could watch?
When it comes to the trainings, most of the training we have got is from the China government. Each
Okay.
year they have a series of trainings on bamboo, and they normally send us the information, and it is global. They invite from global, and we encourage our members to be on the alert so that when the chances come up, they are able to participate. Some of our members of Uganda Bamboo Association have been to China. But at the same time, the International Network of Bamboo and Rattan have come up with a number of courses whereby they bring up international facilitators and
Okay.
they have been able to train us into construction using bamboo, into weaving using bamboo, into making charcoal, so many other applications. We have been able to get that kind of training. And when people are members and they are alert, they always participate in this. So some of those activities are taking place, and we would like, or we are working towards now having small bamboo planting accompanied by bamboo processing. Yeah, so that it is not only just planting, but also processing, moving our small scale, which we started with, mobilizing people to plant and demonstrating what activity, what products bamboo can release, into planting at large scale and processing. So the level at which we are is to get uh, factories coming in here. They may not be big factories. We may start with small scale
Yeah.
factories that may expand as the resource also expands. That's where we are working, Uganda Bamboo Association, working together with the government of Uganda to try and have their factories in place. That's the pilot factories, in addition to what members have initiated.
Yeah. There's a. It seems like the Uganda Bamboo Association has been around for 26 years. I hope I got that right. Do you want to correct me there?
Formally, yes,
Okay.
but then the activities
Yes.
started since 2011,
2011. So that's
and they
12
were in
years.
very high gear. And at that time, it was formal in the sense that for the first 5 years, I was in government. So it was only that small gap whereby there was the linking from government and going local
Yeah. Yeah.
from 2016 to 2017. Then we realized we needed to register something which is not government, but which is community. Yeah. And so from that point, there are also other organizations that have come up, but this one is an association where everybody else can come in and enjoy themselves and pick whatever they want to pick and go and develop it in
Awesome.
terms of
I asked that because it seems to me like a lot of work has been done already, and it still feels like there's a lot of work to be done. Because as you speak, I'm just seeing in my mind's eyes a lot of work that could be done in addressing these gaps that you're speaking of. But in the meantime, what has been a huge success story for you since you started this out organization? What has been that story that you've heard that was like, okay, this is a fulfilling moment for me? I'm happy I started this.
uh, the biggest success story is to convince government that bamboo is worthy. So the day they launched the bamboo strategy and action plan was a very big success for me, or even though it was now the government launching. But for me, I felt very proud because I had drafted the outline which they developed. Uh-huh.
Yes.
Yeah, so that is one of the biggest success story, because people start things and for a long time they struggle to have the government recognize what
Yes.
they have started. But bamboo is
Yes.
already in there. So then the other one is to be able to move around the country and you see bamboo plants rising up here and there. That one is a very, very uh, high, uh, high success for me and for Uganda Bamboo Association. when we move around and so many people are planting, they are planted, and so many people are saying, we want seedlings, we want this, we want the other. The fact that the conversation has been made practical, no longer it is a very high point in our success.
I just have to say this because I sit, like I said earlier, I sit with a lot of founders, and I also speak a lot of times with development finance. That's people that work with the African Development Bank, people that are in the interface between founders and their funding, right? And one of the issues they have with some solutions that founders come up with is that when you bring a solution, the first thing they tell you is that government may be an interference. You may have issues with the government on this. So just kill the idea, look for something that is less dependent on government. So I have to give it to you that this hurdle that you have been able to pass and surmount is a big deal, because a lot of solutions people come up with, especially in the sustainability and development space, is usually hindered by government's opposition. So being able to say the government is on your side on this is a big deal, and it would not be a problem getting funding for the Uganda Bamboo Association if you ever want to pursue that. The opposition to getting funding has been reduced greatly by the government being on your side on this. Just before we take a couple questions, we have some people joining in late, and I realized that is because of the timing difference, like you mentioned earlier. Some people weren't sure when the program was to start, considering what's on the flyer is 5 o'clock West African time, and I realize a lot of people are joining in from East Africa. But just before we take questions from the audience, I want to know what the outlook is for bamboo for you. I'm talking, when I say for you now, I'm talking about the Uganda Bamboo Association, and not just for your organization, but for bamboo as a value product. What do you see in the next 5 years for bamboo, and what do you see for the Uganda Bamboo Association?
Uh, what I see for Uganda Bamboo Association, in terms of my perspective, is that 5 years from today, I should retire. And
Awesome.
when I say when I say I'm retiring, it means I'm satisfied. My crusade has succeeded. So
Yeah.
I'm seeing so much bamboo that has been planted during 2022, especially from September 2022, because remember 2021 and a bit of 2022 early, it was that post-COVID era, which
Yeah.
wasn't so good. But
Mm-hmm.
there has been a lot of planting of bamboo. 2022 in the second season, 2023, the 2 seasons, there has been a lot of planting. So if we can have uh, another year of that kind of planting,
Yeah.
then I am ready to give way to the energetic and young people to be able to drive, because I know that my mission has succeeded.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is that the outlook is really quite promising.
Mm. Awesome. I'm pretty sure that there are a lot of people on this call. I see a lot of doctors on the call, so a lot of people are interested in the value that bamboo can provide. Someone already asked a question. Let me, I think I should read the question so that since you're here, you can answer. Give me a moment. Let me bring that up. Okay, so someone is asking, can you hear me?
I
Awesome.
can.
Someone is asking, how often do you harvest bamboo and at what age? This someone is actually Matthew Mafumo, Apologies for calling you someone. Matthew is asking, how often do you harvest bamboo and at what age?
Okay, how often do we? I think we harvest bamboo according to demand,
Okay.
but the bamboo that has to be, the age of the bamboo that has to be harvested depends on the user. If someone wants to make weaving, they harvest bamboo which is a little not too mature, it's still pliable. If someone wants to do construction, then we have to harvest the bamboo at 4 years and above. So the age at which we harvest depends on the use. If someone wants shoots, again, that is a different story. You harvest it a few weeks after it shoots out of the ground. So harvesting depends on what you want to use the bamboo for.
Awesome. Matthew, I hope Matthew is still on the call. I hope that was able to answer your question. Hi, Matthew. Do you want to contribute to what Madam Flavia just said? Okay. So I'm going to give room for say two or three people to ask questions now. So if you have any questions, please prepare them. While we ask Madam Flavia one or two more questions, you can just raise your hand. Okay, Matthew said, "Thank you. His question has been answered." So thank you, Madam Flavia, for that. Um, Okay, I see another question by Nabaska. I hope I'm not murdering that name. But Madam Flavia, what is your personal vision for the future of bamboo? I know you had said that personally you want to retire in another 5 years. But when you look at Uganda and bamboo, what is your personal vision for the bamboo industry? And then, is there anything you like the audience to take away from this conversation as a final closing remark before we go to the questions?
Yeah, my vision for the bamboo development here is that there should be, by the end of 5 years, we should have a number of factories or enterprises that are processing bamboo into different kinds of products. But one thing which really has been on my mind is the energy value chain from bamboo. The energy value chain is really quite it is quite promising if we use bamboo. I have seen one factory by Chinese, which is in Uganda here, where they make charcoal balls. And if we can enhance that kind of process here, then we have a very big market for that energy. We have a very big energy market here in Uganda because we have so many cities, and most people, maybe we can talk about 95% of the all Ugandans, there are some foods that we cannot cook otherwise by on a charcoal stove or on a fire, using firewood. So we need a lot of charcoal for the nation, and most of the trees or the biomass that was used from the naturally growing trees or even trees that are planted is not enough to cover the energy need. So I see the energy value chain rising up in the near future as something that will be takeaway for the bamboo industry here, in addition to all other things. And the good thing about this is that for a bamboo pole, I think either 40% or the other way around is waste, and that waste shouldn't be thrown away. That waste has to be converted into energy, either charcoal or briquettes. So I look at that. And then the other thing I'm looking at is that at the end of that period or towards the end of that period, there will be multiple industries or enterprises processing bamboo. Yeah, so that I just sit back and take note and maybe even write, because I have a lot of experience within me and
Yes.
I have the ability to write books because I've written books before. However, right now, while I'm so busy running up and down, I have no capacity to write, to concentrate. But I should be able to come up with writings about the experience, my experience with bamboo in this country.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Madam Flavia. So, as a closing remark, do you have anything you want to say to the audience before we give room for one or two people to ask their questions?
Yeah, thank you so much, Agatha. I'm really
Okay.
very delighted having participated in this as a key speaker, and other people who have come on this meeting. They have interest in bamboo in one way or another, and could be having frustrations here and there, like I've had. But I'm just saying, please take heart. In bamboo, there is so much more wealth than you can imagine. Because when I look at the bamboo itself, I used to talk to the youth and I tell them that you can make a lot of money out of bamboo, because there's a lot of bamboo I throw away in my compound. But if someone can pick that bamboo and make just key holders, and they make like 2 million key holders and sell them very cheaply, they may end up into billions of shillings. So just one tiny little thing has the potential for making some young people rich. Uh, so many ideas are there on my desk, and people
Yeah.
who are willing, they come and draw from those ideas. When I have that idea, one might think that maybe I would like to make those, but I want some young people, some energetic people to take that enterprise. Just a little thing like that. Maybe you take an enterprise of making earrings, just that, and you make them in bulk. So I would like to encourage people who are growing bamboo to look at those small things that can be developed into commercial entities, so that they don't look at bamboo as a white elephant taking up their land.
Mm.
The other day I got so disappointed when someone who has, we have been nurturing the plantation together, then she went behind my back and gave it to people, and they cut all of it like they are cutting sugarcane, and they
Ah.
took away all the bamboo, giving her very little money for each truck they carried away. Then when I asked her, she said, oh, you see, I was in need of money, and I felt so bad about
Mm.
it, because people need to think beyond just that quick
Mm.
money. They need to think more deeply about what they can do in a small way, but which can be expanded into a commercial level.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Flavia.
So,
Beyond this call, I'm still going to go back and have a conversation with you, because I realized that this bamboo is much more than I initially had thought. And I see a lot of potential here, especially as regards to the challenge on funding that you have mentioned. So I'm going to be having a call with you to also suggest, at least from my wealth of experience as a sustainability consultant as well, I've played around sustainable finance and organizations that could help in funding initiatives like this. Usually, let me just give my 2 cents on here so that other people can learn as well. Usually, what would happen for an organization like yours to assess certain fundings, especially from international organizations, would be to put together a proper impact report. um, I do that almost every day for organizations that reach out to my organization, right? Put a proper impact report that depicts what bamboo is right now, the kind of opportunities it has created for youths, women, older people, even. When you do that, you put together a proper impact report that shows the potential, your track record so far, and then you reach out to organizations that are trying to fund initiatives like this. We have the United Nations Development Program, we have the African Development Bank. In Nigeria, we have Development Bank of Nigeria. Every other quarter, they are putting up openings for organizations like yours to put in for funding, because fundings are coming in every year from these international organizations. I don't know what the challenge is yet. Maybe it's enlightenment, or people don't know that their fundings cut out for initiatives like yours. In fact, the International Fund for Agricultural Development will be interested in what your organization is doing. The World Bank will be interested in what your organization is doing if it is packaged properly and sold for the value that it brings. And from what I've heard so far for the last 1 hour, there's a lot of value in what your organization is doing. Um, you just need someone who consults in stuff like this to put together a proper document that sells this to the broader world, not just Uganda, right? Because something that also intrigued me is that for Uganda, the Ugandan government to buy into this initiative means that there's a lot of potential in it, and it just needs more light so that the international world can buy into this initiative as well. Because from my experience alone, I can see a lot of potential in it. And this was also my way of answering one of the questions that someone asked. I think it's Charles Magoye. I hope I didn't murder your name. He said, development finance organizations that I spoke about, can I point you in the right direction? I would say if you're someone who is building value around stuff like this, go on LinkedIn, like page like the United Nations. Every other day, they are posting funding opportunities for organizations to buy into. Go and like the World Bank's page, follow them, subscribe to their newsletters. Like I said earlier, every other day, they are putting up fundings that are available for organizations to buy into. So yes, I think it's an information gap that is the challenge, especially in Africa. The funding is there, but it's left to a few certain people that know about it. That's why it's not going round. So just put your eyes on the ground, put your ears on the ground. You'll definitely see when these things come up. I'm talking a lot. Let me give the floor open to, let me make the floor open to one or two persons that want to ask Madam Flavia a question or two. Is there anyone that want to ask a question? While we still have Madam Flavia with us. Anybody that wants to ask a question, please indicate by raising your hands. I'm going to see it and give you the floor. Anyone? Usually what happens in meetings like this is that I ask if anyone wants to ask a question and no one does, and then I get messages in my DMs asking me questions that I could possibly not have answers to. What do I know about bamboo? I don't know anything about bamboo. You better ask your questions now. Because I won't be able to give you answers. Only Madam Flavia will be able to. But since there are no questions right now, I think we'll have to move the meeting forward. Thank you so much, Madam Flavia. Any questions I get from this in my DMs, I'll send them to you directly, so that when you provide answers, I can also relay them to the shy people that don't want to raise their hands up in a meeting. But I appreciate you taking the time to come do this with us. Thank you so much. We've been discussing this for weeks, and in your busy schedule, you made out time for this. So I really appreciate it. Thank you to everyone that has joined us today. This session has been recorded. We took out a lot of time to make sure that this session was recorded, and we're going to be posting it on YouTube and Spotify. In fact, it's going to be available anywhere you listen to podcasts so that you can re-listen. A lot has been said today, and believe me, you've not caught everything that was said, because there are a lot of hidden treasures in what Madam Flavia has shared with us today. So we need to go back and also listen and glean. If you can see, my camera is on. I was writing throughout when she was speaking, because there are a lot of things she was saying that I was trying to keep up with. So the recording is going to be available on YouTube. Sustainability Matters with Agatha is the same name across all channels: YouTube, Spotify, anywhere you listen to music. is going to be available on there for listening. So thank you, everyone. Next week, we're going to be having another guest with us to come and discuss about renewable energy. But for now, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you taking the time to do this with us. We say thank you, Madam Flavia, and have a good rest of the day.
Thank
Thank you, everyone. Good night.
goodness.
All right, bye. Thank you, Madam
Bye.
Flavia. Good night.
Good night to you.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Yes, ma'am. Bye.
Not getting good. Hayi munazi ntakira okumubuulya nti how did you get my name nderabire ati atumwire ebigambo bingi nangutya